Happiness is the best medicine. Once upon a time, there was a small village nestled in the mountains, where the people were known for their simple way of life and their contentment with what they had. They had a tradition of gathering every week in the town square to share stories, laughter, and food. Life was not always easy, but the people of the village believed that happiness was the best medicine, and they made sure to find joy in even the smallest of things. One day, a stranger arrived in the village. His name was Thomas, and he was a doctor who had traveled from far away to help the people of the village. The people were wary of him at first, as they had never had a doctor in their village before, but Thomas was kind and gentle, and he soon won their trust. Thomas spent his days tending to the sick and injured, and he was amazed by the positive attitude of the people of the village. Even when they were in pain or suffering, they always had a smile on their faces and a kind word to share. As he got to know the people of the village better, Thomas began to realize that their happiness was more than just a pleasant demeanor. It was a way of life, a mindset that allowed them to find joy in even the most difficult of circumstances. One day, Thomas was visited by a young boy named Timmy. Timmy had broken his leg while playing in the fields, and he was in a great deal of pain. Thomas gave him some medicine to help with the pain, but he could see that Timmy was still feeling down. "Is there anything else I can do to help you feel better?" Thomas asked. Timmy thought for a moment. "Well, there is one thing," he said. "Every week, we have a gathering in the town square. There's food, and stories, and music. It's always so much fun. But since I broke my leg, I haven't been able to go. I miss it so much." Thomas smiled. "Well, why don't we bring the gathering to you?" he suggested. "We can have food, stories, and music right here in your room." Timmy's eyes lit up with excitement, and Thomas set to work. He went around the village, gathering food, musicians, and storytellers. Soon, Timmy's room was filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and the smell of delicious food. As the gathering went on, Thomas saw the transformation in Timmy. The young boy, who had been so down just a few hours ago, was now laughing and smiling, surrounded by his friends and family. Thomas realized that he had been wrong in his assumption that medicine was the only way to heal. Happiness, he realized, was just as important. It had the power to lift spirits, ease pain, and bring people together. From that day on, Thomas made it his mission to bring happiness to the people of the village. He organized gatherings, told jokes, and shared stories. He saw the impact that his efforts had on the people, and he knew that he had found his true calling as a doctor. Years passed, and Thomas became an integral part of the village. He watched as the people grew old, as children were born and grew up, and as the village prospered. And through it all, he knew that happiness was the best medicine. In the end, Thomas passed away, but his legacy lived on. The people of the village continued to gather in the town square, to share stories, laughter, and food. And through it all, he knew that happiness was the best medicine. In the end, Thomas passed away, but his legacy lived on. The people of the village continued to gather in the town square, to share stories, laughter, and food. The end.